All right, I want to welcome everybody tonight for the Seekers podcast. We're gonna have a good show. We got Barry Webster as our main guest tonight. We're still waiting on our co-host to be here, but we got the usual crew. And I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and we'll end up here with Barry. Dale or Scout.
Hi, I'm Dale Bullock. I'm from Heber Springs, Arkansas. Glad to be here tonight. Go ahead, Chief.
I'm one they call Chief. I'm Tom Anderson. I'm from Paris, Arkansas, foot of Magazine Mountain.
All right, Barry, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Barry Webster. My Indian name is Ahi Sabe, which means Blackwing. I'm a member of the Latada clan, proud member of the Omaha tribe of Nebraska and Iowa, co-founder of Res Squatching Research. Glad to be here. I'm honored to finally be on again, Wendell. So I thank you.
We're glad to have you and glad you can be here. Oh, here comes Neil Hardcore. He's my other guest host.
Howdy.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Neil? Yeah, I can hear you, but can't see you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in a vehicle. It's kind of dark, so.
All right.
I see a light.
Yeah, it's light in the background there. It's not going to be much light there, but we're going to.
Now it's a little better. We can see you. You want to introduce yourself? We done our guest here, Barry Webster, done introduced himself, and we just like you, and then we'll get on to a topic here.
All right. My name is Hardcore. I'm out of Arkansas, the Oak area. Been doing this about 5 years. Maybe a little bit longer, just over lifetime experiences. Kind of don't know what to say right now, so we can get started with it, Wendell.
All right.
I feel like I'm unprepared, honest with you.
Yeah, that goes with it sometimes. At least we ain't, knock on wood, we ain't having no internet problems yet tonight. So,
Yeah.
Barry, you want to tell us any more information about what y'all do and what y'all's about?
You bet. Hey, Wendell, is this on my page too, so my members can watch?
I shared it there. I don't know if you accepted it or not.
All right, can I take a second to go approve it?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Sorry about that.
Well, we done lost Hardcore. I done talk too much about the internet.
No, are you there?
Oh, now
No, I just turned off the camera. Is all I done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you have to be that way.
Well, it's something on my side. I'm having some bugs with this phone, so I'm trying to fix something real quick.
I can send it directly to your page. I mean, I sent it to your Res Squatch, Barry, but I can send it straight to you if you want to.
Yeah, let me pending approvals one today. Let me see what that is. Thomas Benhart Anderson.
That's me.
That's Chief. Yep.
Okay, hang on there. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Let me. Outstanding. Mark White. We can send it later, huh?
Yeah.
All right. We'll get started. I apologize, guys. Sorry about that, Chief.
It's okay.
So let me.
All right.
Scout, are you ready? Scout, are you ready?
Oh, I just yanked my router off. I'm still working good. My router just crashed off on the floor.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, again, we're a Native American Bigfoot research team located in northeast Nebraska. Um, again, on the Omaha Tribe of Nebraska homelands. We don't say reservation. That's kind of an old sore spot with us. So we say
I can
homeland.
understand. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So we're a little better than that. So anyway, I have a team of experts, experienced. Um, I'm really proud of them. We've done some amazing things over the years, and I have to tell you that my journey is uh, just been one heck of a ride, so to speak. Um, I also wanted to talk briefly about this coming weekend, January 27th, 28th, 29th. We're honoring one of our team members, Terry Overtime Pedraza, as we nicknamed him. We nicknamed him Overtime. He's been with us for probably 6 years. He passed away about a month ago. So we're honoring him
Oh,
this
wow.
weekend. So we're really looking forward to that. Um, so that's kind of what we got going on. If you're interested, we're going to make some room for some people. So if you're interested, please give me a call or look us up on Red Squatching Research Community. We'd be happy to accommodate anybody who wants to jump in and spend a couple nights up there squatching with us. So it's pretty exciting.
And we got an event February 24th and 25th that way at Ball Knob, Arkansas. And we've had several that said they wanted to join us in anything. So anybody out there that wants to can join us here in Arkansas. Question I have, and several, just because they keep asking me, is do y'all charge or whatever? That's the number one question somebody asks me, and I'm like, our group don't, but a lot does. So that's something that I'd
Yeah,
ask you.
we charge a little bit. So again, if
Okay.
anybody's interested, I'd be happy to discuss the details with them. So just
All
reach
right.
out to me.
Sounds good. Anybody else got any questions here for Barry?
Yeah. What kind of evidence have you found up in that area?
Well, I don't know if any of you been on live. Did you guys go to anybody watch my live streams?
I have. They're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think um, we've been pretty what's the word, blessed in a way. Um, I don't know that my brother would feel comfortable sharing some of our stuff, but I know this that we've had. I personally have, and I know a lot of people talk about it, but you know, I've had some really, I've had some real amazing face-to-face encounters, and I think that's kind of what separates, the men from the boys, so to speak. And I'm not trying to put myself up there, but I've had some evidence-wise, if you watched any of our YouTube videos with Outcast Paranormal, um, uh, Bigfoot Stacy said these guys walk over prints and say, that's just another print. Those are dime a dozen. So if that's any kind of indication of what kind of evidence, we kind of overlook. Um, again, I think for me, um, having eye to eye, face to face has just been a real eye opener. Even today, as my last one was probably 2 years ago, And today, just to have them come out and interact, is still pretty amazing. The relationship that we built. Evidence, I can't discuss that right now, and there's some things that we just rather um, let it rest for a while. You know,
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah,
Sounds good. Yeah. We got stuff like that too. That part of it would disclose some of the hot spots and areas. There's only certain things that we can reveal ourselves. So,
yeah, yeah. I
uh,
hear you. I hear
Great.
you.
He's one of our new team members. Uh, he says, "How long have you been doing that?" I'm doing a Bigfoot deal, or when did you get into Bigfoot and Barry?
Well, let me say this, and I guess I'm understanding my audience a little better. With Native Americans, it's kind of uh, I would say we grow up with that. You know, I knew about
Oh yeah.
I knew about Sitonga, as we call him. That'd be Bigfoot. That's what we call him in our tribe. There's a couple of names they call him, but um, I think I grew up knowing that before I knew Batman and Robin. That's just how it's interwoven
Wow.
within our culture. So,
Mhm. More of
Oh,
a,
those are,
awesome.
that
I,
is that more of
I
a
didn't know that.
spiritual thing?
yeah. Well, it again, all Native communities are, have their stories, their oral history, and even some. You'd be amazed at some of the stories, the interaction that took place. The coexistence, so to speak. And so that's just kind of how it is for all of us, I guess. They've been in our
Yeah.
backyard.
I've I've done some studies and everything on the different names for Bigfoot in the Native American and different encounters. It's amazing how much different one tribe is encounter is with a Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I'm a descendant of Choctaw Indians, and they call it Champay. They uh, totally feared the Champay Bigfoot or whatever, but other tribes they was Big Brother they'd call them, and then they lived with them and worked
Mhm.
with them, and so. You got any comment on that? Why that would be that way, or just like us, we've run into some clans we call them is just really mean, and then the other ones are, uh, I mean, they're just curious and they just work with you and go around you, and so have you had any activity like that, or they've all been pretty blessed and nice when you've been around them?
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I live in central United States, right there in Nebraska, and
Yeah,
more of the plains, the Great Plains natives. We kind of refer to him as a brother, and and
yeah,
especially for us, some of my team members had some pretty interesting encounters with them. They've got things thrown at them, and
Yeah.
believe me, I'm not by no means trying to say anything, but I can tell you that I've had some very spiritual experiences with them. Very uh, where I actually prayed with them. In fact, I'm at a point where
wow,
I've named most of my relationships. With certain ones. The one in particular is Stevie Wonder. That one was mind blowing to me, and I named him Stevie because his head, he was making his head go like this to me, and I finally ended up praying with him, and that ended up being
yeah,
a real uh, spiritual moment for me. Um, we've come up with what my people, the Umahas, did, and I was told by one of my grandmas that I was supposed to pray and talk Umaha, our language, with them, and then respect them, so we hold them in high regard, on in our community.
That's kind of like out in the
Awesome.
Pacific Northwest with the Yakima. They respect them. They see one while they're out, like elk hunting, like what happened with me with the group of Yakima I was with. That became their, its hunting ground. So they left. There was more like a respect to get out as fast as they could. But again, they also fear them because they have stories of their women being kidnapped.
Yeah.
So,
Some of the oral history that I've heard, and my brother, a lot of times, we got stories that they helped us. They used to bring wood to some of the widows, and so
I've heard those stories.
yeah, it was more, coexistence where we helped each other. And traditionally, historically, the Omahas are pretty friendly people, pretty friendly to outside visitors. And growing up, we've always had that relationship with them. And so I've tried to, I like to believe we just reconnected, in a spiritual kind of way with them. So,
Tell me something. Have you ever found structures that look like a big prayer circle or something? Remember that? What we call that up there, Wendell?
Yeah, we're calling it a worship circle now. I found areas before that was a circle, and we'd call them daycares because you could have little structures. But this is more. The giant X is right behind one tree that's down, and then there's a circle around to that. There's another circle. You're pushed in one direction on one of the circle, and all the trees is pushed to the other direction in the other circle. And that's what we're calling it now, is a worship area. I believe that's the only purpose for this. And you might have some insight on something like that you've seen up there, or what that would be for.
yeah.
Like the one we found over there behind Hardcore's grandmother's house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
My brother had, and he just showed me the other day too. He might have posted it on the page. If not, I'll post it when I get off here. There was we came across there was this creek. I would say at least 10 feet drop down in this creek bed, and we didn't even recognize it, but it was really intricately weaved, and it was almost shaped like a teepee. And I actually have pictures where I crawled in it. And
Wow.
and the position or its location was directly across where we were standing. And I remember not even actually recognizing it. So I guess strategically, one could have been sitting in there, and the family that lived there, I believe they were watched even during the daytime. That's how it was camouflaged. So you couldn't even recognize it. That's how. So what do I want to say? They're so sneaky, for lack of a better word. And we finally pointed it out to this family, and they were just shocked. They asked, I think they asked us to take it down, and we refused. We said, nah, we don't want no part of that. You get them pissed off. Boy,
Right.
that's one thing I don't want to do, is piss them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could be the family that's there or around there could be in serious trouble after that. I mean,
yeah.
But the majority of the time, there's not just one Sasquatch or Bigfoot. It's a whole group, family clan Now, every once in a while, you will find a road that's moving through on areas that we've found, but usually it's a whole clan. If you got them all mad at you, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I could, like you guys, I could spend 8 hours here telling you some of the encounters, but I think for the most part, what we've experienced is that prayer has really connected us, and especially me. And I find that I'm just fascinated by that based on what my elder told me to do, that has really brought and really uh, built that relationship with them. So that's kind of what we've been doing, at least for the last 15 years. I There was a question you asked me earlier. I probably got over 30 years in, just off and on, but more more recently
Wow,
15 active years where I've been out at least 2 times a week.
Wow, that's awesome.
wow,
One of the things I decided to try
yeah,
about one of the things I wanted to try and did it on one of our investigations is a group out of oh heck, forgot where they're from now, but it's called the Who, HU, and they do that throat singing. And so Wendell, I wanted to try that, see if we got some action, and we had action all night from that, and that could be it,
Yeah.
because that's a different language. It's similar to our Native American languages,
Yeah.
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 Have you ever heard any of them trying to mimic your conversations or anything like that?
Yeah. One
We have,
time,
yeah,
one time, I my mind's going 90 miles an hour, but I remember one time, um, I was I was reading scripture to them, and then let me just give you an example of my greeting, if you don't mind. Um, so when I go out, I got hot spots like everybody else does, and so
right,
here's what I normally say. I say aho kage. Um, Ankugi gashka shito. You know, um, what that means is we mean you no harm. You know, we come in peace. Um, and sometimes I'll start out with my Indian name, as I've said earlier, Ahi Sabe, Ati, I'm here. So I think that is a very uh, competitive advantage, and I know for a
yeah.
fact that that they understand what I'm saying. I have no doubt about that. I haven't actually heard them try and talk my language back to me, but I'll hear. I'll hear. We used to hear a lot of whoops. I've heard them, you know, just scream out. Uh, I've heard them scold their juveniles. Uh, that you would have thought something was crawling out of hell. After that scolding, I believe an adult was scolding a juvenile, and I've never heard that in my life. Today, that still sends chills down my spine. As I talk about it, even
That's kind of like
so.
we in one of our areas. It's up there at Area 2 by Hardcore. There is they got a it's a it's hard to explain what it is, but it starts off as a high shrill sound and
Mm,
ends up into a whoop, and it usually ends with three whoops, and it'll make the hair stand on the back of your. It's the only place I've ever heard one make that sound. It's amazing when you do hear it.
yeah,
Uh,
Dell and
To
our
me,
Dell
it's
and
go,
uh,
go
here
ahead,
winding
Hardcore.
up. to me.
Do what?
To me, it sounds like a gear. It sounds
Yeah.
like a gear winding up, and or like maybe an alarm or something, like an old style raid alarm maybe. But it does end up with some whoops at the
Yeah.
end. But it is odd. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
I've heard it recently, actually.
Hardcore and Hardcore and I, excuse me, Wendell. Wendell and I have even heard one over near Area 4 that started out like an owl and then ended up barking like a dog.
Yeah.
I think you remember that one, Wendell.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, I speaking of barking like a dog, I know for a fact they mimic. I had a 20-minute encounter one time, and I named he was the elder of all of them. He was I would say their leader, and I named him Ishage, which meant old man. And I actually have a picture of him, but when him and I went face to face when we encountered each other, he had a juvenile with him, and he grunted, and then the juvenile come out from behind the tree and start barking like a dog, and I got a big kick out of that. That just blew me away. So I've had I've watched juveniles grow up, and that's been pretty amazing. So
What would you say their growth rate is?
We've countered with
all right, one at a time here, Wendell. Go ahead, Wendell.
Sorry about that, Wendell.
I was just saying we had a counter about three investigations ago. It sounded like a bunch of playing in a holler, but this was at night at 11 o'clock. It was like 32 degrees out, and it sounded just like kids playing everywhere. Didn't understand a word they were saying, and it would get closer and then further away. And we was like, what is going on? Why? But finally, about close to midnight to 1 o'clock, we finally heard the big whoop or kind of the scolding, like shut up. And we knew it wasn't no kids that we couldn't understand. We knew it was a juvenile Sasquatch that was down there playing or something. Whatever.
And
go ahead, Dale.
The thing was, it sounded like a woman screaming, yelling at.
Yeah, when the scream.
Yeah, go ahead, Scout. I'm interested to hear what you had to say again.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Well, that's like over there at Mountain View. Every time Dale and I, we knew we were being watched. Wendell had already gone to bed.
All night long.
All night long. I mean, we sat there, we listened to them. I mean, coyotes, imitate coyotes. We had some down in a holler imitating dogs. And every time we got close to our trucks, reach over and touch the handle, we got rock knocks right there. I told Dale, I said, we're being watched.
Yeah, we got some awesome audio that night.
They do that a lot.
Nice.
I had a discussion last night. Do what?
I said, we even got that audio of them going through the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I had a discussion last night with Northwest Cryptics, Ricky Weaver, and on his podcast, and we were discussing what we believe or what we think Sasquatch. I was discussing it from a Christian point of view. I know the Creator, ever have to say it, the Lord, He created everything that's on this earth. So from that standpoint, God created these Sasquatch or native people. I believe they're descendants of Esau and his giant wives that Esau married through Canaanites. But the reason why that be, that's how I got into Bigfoot. And a friend of mine, I told him he was crazy. There wasn't no such. He said, "Well, if you're a deacon and believe in Christ and your Bible, then you better believe in Bigfoot because they're all through the Bible." And I said, "No way!" Once you start studying it and figuring stuff out, they're all through the Bible.
That's right. That's right, Wendell.
You believe. Oh, okay. I know Larry's belief is that they grew up with spiritual. So I was just wanting to get your comments on that, Barry. What's your take on how you believe, or what you found out, or what you've been taught?
Well, we've always been taught, that we've held them in high regard. They're hubei. My people always said they're hubei, which means holy. They come from God.
Okay.
So if you back up and again, each of us has our belief, but I believe this, and it sounds like you guys are boots on the ground, and I spent a lot of hours out there, praying about, the truth and looking for answers. And I know this, that if you live your life accordingly, and you do the things that are pleasing to the Lord, that He will give you your answers. So, Wendell, I'll keep a long story short. I'm on the same lines of you. Is that fair enough
Awesome.
answer? Yeah.
Fair enough
I believe
answer.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got a question here. When you go out, you and your team go out on the research, have y'all ever been shadowed by one?
Shadowed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe we have. I'll say this. I've been zapped. I've been bluff charged, and I'm not I'm not one to have a pissing match, but I'll say this, that from shadowed to zap to you name it, I've had I at one time, Chief, if I would have said, can I hold you, I would have held a juvenile in my arms. It came 4 feet from me. It crawled down a branch to get that close to me as I was talking to four adults. And I believe I was talking to the alpha male, and there were one smaller than him. Then the juvenile came down. There's a whole story to it. I just don't have enough time to talk about it. But I've been blessed, Chief, and I'll just stay humble about it.
Yeah. The reason
Awesome.
I asked that was because last investigation we was on, Wendell and Dale and them were way up ahead, and my team was cutting through the woods. Of course, we weren't using flashlights. We had one thermal with it because somebody left theirs at home. But I'm not going to say who that person was. But anyway, we had one. He'd go from our 6 o'clock to our 9 o'clock, just back and forth, and stayed about 20 yards from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He'd been over just outside our camp earlier, not too far from the camp, just like he was kind of curious about us, what we were doing. So
Wow.
But yeah, I have a family group unit that comes in here on my place every now and then. And, I thought, I've heard people say, you tell them, like you can have this part of my land. Just don't come this part of my land and we'll get along. I've tried that, and the only thing, it's been about 3 years now. My wife called me up. I was on the other side of the state at my sister's house, and there was an awful smell in the backyard, and our dogs wouldn't go out until the next day when it got sun up. So all I could figure out was the juvenile came up into the yard. Just curious, Didn't bother the house, didn't bother nothing else, just came up in the yard and that was it. Normally, you can hear them down in my wood.
All right.
Line. You'll get, whenever I'm outside, that's how I tell when they're here. They'll do a tree knock. There's one knock, and that's it. And they never come out of the tree line.
That's to let you know they're there.
Yeah. But I'm within 150 yards of Tyson commercial chicken houses. And the guy throws the chickens out, so I figured they're just coming in. They're following that flock where they put those chickens. And they're coming in here getting them a free meal where they stay in my tree line. And it's basically a bamboo thicket out there. Now, I have heard a couple of times sounded like a Mack truck going through the bamboo thicket down the trees. I mean, it just crashed just halfway across. Never got my flashlight. Go down there and check it out. Never put the thermal up. Let them be. They're not bothering me. I'm not going to bother them. That's my rule of thumb. I've had researchers around here. Oh, we want to come in and check it out. There's been a sighting over here. I know there's been a sighting over here the last 2 nights. But no, you're not coming in and bothering me. My property, they're not bothering me, they're not bothering my family, my neighbors. No. So, kind of giving them a safe haven to come to. As long as they don't bother anything.
Yeah, there's areas like that all around. All right, we got our full panel here. The other Barry's here. Welcome Barry Robinson here. Me and Barry Webster's been on cast. How you doing, Barry?
Doing all right. Y'all doing okay?
Can you hear us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good to see you, Barry.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
God bless everybody.
You had any activity around here? Yeah, God bless you.
We, like the other guy there was saying, we hear knocks and stuff down in the tree line. Our dogs and the neighbors went nuts just there. Like I was telling you in Messenger right before I got on here. The neighbor's dog started up first and then ours. I took some trash out when I come in. No sooner shut the door behind me and the back security light where I'd just been come on. Wasn't nothing back there when I was out there, but apparently it wasn't too far away.
Right. Got any questions for anybody there?
Not off the top of my head.
Hardcore?
He's on mute still.
Yeah, I'm here.
You got any questions for anybody? I got to step
No.
out for a minute here. I'm discussion here, hardcore.
I got something I can bring up.
Can you hear? All right, I'll be right back.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear him.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to set up a dummy camp and set up some like camp traps and stuff. So, you guys have any ideas y'all want to talk about on the air, or if anyone that's viewing this has any ideas if they would like to post it on the Arkansas Bigfoot Carlo page, and some ideas that you would like me to try to do, whether it be audio recorder, some kind of camera trap of some kind. Just give me some ideas, and I'll do some recording of it and see what we come up with. What do you guys think?
I haven't had a lot of luck with trail cameras. I get a glimpse here and a glimpse there. A tuft of fur or what looks like an arm or a leg sometimes, but I think it's the IR beams. They can see them, they avoid them.
Well, that's my theory. They can see that IR and they're going to avoid them. The last time we went out, I set both of my game cams up. Like I said, we had one come right up outside the camp behind a little outhouse tent I carried for everybody. And there wasn't nothing on camera. And then I had another one looking down the road toward the creek, and nothing got on it. I got hardcore once, and I got Brandon a few times, and Marcus, and then everybody walking up the road.
That's a good question.
Brandon wants to know what is the tallest you have ever seen. I guess it's for you, Barry.
You know,
Up in Nebraska.
yeah, Braden Graham, what a great. I'm
Which
glad
Barry?
you asked that question. One time, I had a gentleman from Omaha, the city of Omaha, and we was getting ready to wind down. It must have been about 1:30 in the morning. And we decided to go to a different location. And I swear to God, you know, we walked about 100 yards from the truck down this dirt road. And it was it was pretty cold out. And I heard this I heard this word before. Maybe I'm gonna mess this up, but I still call it a guttural growl. But it was like I don't want to say clacking, but it almost made the lion noise to my right. And he had wanted to see something so bad, and I was actually feeling bad because I don't think we were in the right areas. So I quietly said to myself, man, I got to get this guy some action. And no sooner than we got probably 100 yards from the truck, walking south. And I even described it that way. It actually had, it was white. He was a gray guy, but he looked, I wouldn't say facially he looked like the Monsters Inc., but his body was so big that he had to be at least 12 to 15 feet tall.
Wow.
After we saw him, he turned and looked at us, and he did the guttural growl like we surprised him. Then he actually grabbed a pine tree and just stepped behind it, and he was gone. And that might have been the biggest one I've ever seen. And to this day, I don't know how or where he went. You know, maybe he went back into a portal, or maybe he went in the river. I didn't track him after that. He just stepped behind the tree and he was gone. But probably 15 feet, Braden, easy.
Yeah, that's
Like
uh,
that's like
bigger than
24.
anything we've encountered is what we've seen or been around.
The closest we found was last investigation of 24-inch footstep, the footprint.
Yeah, that's the biggest footprint we've found.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd say 15 foot's probably twice the size of anything I've seen or prints I found or anything.
Yeah, the majority of them around here is between a track size is about 17 inch wide. That's the majority of what we see around here, and the ones we've visually seen, we've seen them all from 6 foot tall up to about like I said, a little over 8 foot tall as far as what we've visually seen.
Real quick, I was going to let Mom say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All
Hi,
right.
Mom.
Hey, hello.
Ah,
She's sitting there listening.
how's she doing?
She's doing better.
Awesome.
Everything's finally starting to get better. I think we're finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's good.
Great.
I have a question for you. What's your opinion on somebody having multiple encounters throughout their life with different Sasquatches?
Is that for me?
Yes, sir.
You probably missed her before you. Yeah, before you got on hardcore hit with all this, so they've had encounters all their life to where we're told all our lives that none of this exists, and or if you see something you didn't see it, it was this. They come up with something. I think the way you're asking your question is. Are they attracted to certain people, or is what you're meaning?
Yes.
All right, Barry. Webster,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you want
You
to
know,
answer that?
Yeah. I've had, Ishage, I've developed a relationship with him. Then he passed, and then the new leader is Stevie Wonder, and so Ishage was a very what I would say a very peaceful individual, and he used to come out and he just loved to listen, and interact. So again, I'm not sure I understood the question, but I did have, for years a relationship with him that we would interact. He would actually walk up. So that was just still mind blowing to me today. I still can't believe it.
The reason I ask is I had an encounter when I was a child, and then I had another encounter when I was 19 years old, and then I had a couple of things happen ever since then. I'll just wonder if it's something about me that these things are drawn to, or if it's just my bad luck, or if it's good luck, or just always wondered really.
Well, let me say this that I think it's a blessing. Um, as my people say, they're kube, they're holy, God made them that way. And when Hollywood thinks they can catch one or they're putting out rewards, we kind of quietly chuckle back on my homeland, because that's just not going to happen. They're sitting out, their probation period, like we all are,
Yeah.
The second coming. So that's one thing we know about them. So I think you're blessed, hardcore.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
You bet.
That's what really had me curious about
Dude,
what you had to say tonight. There's understand. You've got more of a spiritual relationship with these creatures. There's some Indian tribes. It's got different names that mean like cannibal of the woods, the stone giant. And just all kinds of things like that. And uh, witch of the woods, and just all kinds of names like that. And then I'm thinking that some of the tribes didn't have such a relationship with them like you do.
Yeah.
well, I think it's just like with us. Uh, Different races of humans didn't have good dealings with other ones, and I think that's the same way in Sasquatch. It depends on the area and what if they trust people. Maybe they had bad encounters with people, and from then on, all people are bad. That's same way we do about stuff. And that's why I think so many different peoples had different dealings with Sasquatch. Always from like we have an area of Devil's Den that people go missing all the time, and there's a Sasquatch population there. But our area 2 is not 15 miles from there. It's well within a close distance, and we have with ours that they've only bluff charged us a few times, and we've been in some situations where they should have. We pushed them harder than they would have wanted. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. Is they're just like people.
Yeah. Yeah. We, as Umahas,
Go ahead.
we know their people, and let me share some things, because it's been a while since I've been on, and usually I'm pretty up on things. But I'll say this: that Stevie Wonder had, when he showed himself and he was moving his head. What was interesting about him, he was almost, I would say, he was a good-looking dude, and his hair was really clean, and it was just fluffy. And he had LED lights on his upper body, all over his upper body. I say LED, they weren't symmetrical or patterned. They were just kind of all over. Ishage, he erased himself off our camera video. His eyes actually turned as they were, and it made an R2D2 noise. I remember it like it was yesterday, but he actually, his eyes turned together, and they made this R2D2 noise. It was just incredible. There was his hair was very straggly, Ishage, but Stevie Wonder he is a bad dude. I'd take him, and I'd fight your Bigfoot with him any day, brother. That's how bad he is. He's a bad dude, man.
I've always been curious about, I'm sure that different alphas for each clan, just like people, you can get a bad leader that's leading the rest of them down a bad road,
Yeah.
And I know I hear a lot about the peaceful part of it, but we've like my area up there where I live, we have a particularly nasty one, and I think he's got everybody else in the clan thinking the same thing. And but sometimes they're playful. You can be hammering on something and the sounds will be repeated almost hit for hit up on the mountain a couple seconds later. You know, it's not an echo. And then other times it's just the behavior is almost spiteful and sadistic and destructive. And you know, you never know what you're going to meet up there. And I think it's because of the alpha.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of like Wendell. I think they're just like people. There's good ones, bad ones. Most of them's probably somewhere in between. And just like people, they can have a good day or a bad day. You catch one with a toothache or a headache, or he's been arguing with his wife or whatever. Might be a whole different ball game than when he's having a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went through a period where people were giving me advice. I finally got in contact with Wendell, and we've been together on this thing for a couple of years now. But you know, there were people giving me advice: play music, gift them, leave food. You know, all this different things, and it was like this is not having any effect at all. You know, they didn't appreciate it. In other words.
Really, tell you the truth, I'm kind of against that gifting stuff, because once you go gifting like apples and oranges or candy or whatever they like, when you stop, now this happened to the Kings down near Hot Springs, Arkansas in 71, because they were always going out and gifting. You know, a few times a week they go gift, and when they went on vacation, when they came back, they had stuff tore up, stuff missing, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, in my mind, you don't want to gift because you're basically taking an animal that's living out there and you're turning it into a pet. You know, and it gets used to that pattern.
If you do it, you sure don't want to do it anywhere around where you live or anything like that. You want to do it away from your resident opinion.
Yeah, and they do it on their private property, and that's just like the lady got a hold of us here a while back before Bate moved down to Texas, over outside of Greenwood there. I take apples out. You know, my neighbor takes apples and all this stuff out there. And it was an older lady, and she stopped doing it. Stuff started happening. And that's why I'm against that. You know, they get used to it, and they expect
Barry,
it.
do y'all have any I use a lot of the Lex for the alpha male or whatever, but there's other tree structures and everything that I actually look at. There's a symbol for water, and I base all that off of the Sumerian and Jewish text, and it's
I'll be right back.
actually worked good for me. Do you have structures up there that appeared to be signal markers or anything like that, Barry?
Yeah. During my 20-minute encounter, he actually walked away, and we were actually filming him. And he walked away, and then the juvenile came out and started barking like a dog. And he actually went and kneeled down like a coach does on a sideline, arms on his thighs.
Yeah.
And he actually was under an X, 2 trees. And I had never seen that before. So when we flashed the light back on him, his eyes were glowing. His eye shine was beaming, and he was under X. I remember saying that on the video. Look, he's under an X. That, you know, so to me, that told me that was very significant to them. That represents something. And it was actually pretty neat to see him under that X.
Yeah. Well, it's good to
I got a
hear.
question.
Go ahead.
I was talking to a coworker last night. He's one I kind of like to mess with. I was giving him a ride home, and he was joking. He says, "You must be an expert by now." Because so there's no such thing as experts when it comes to this. But anyway, we was talking. I was telling him, I wonder if somewhere down the road if we ever learn to communicate with them. We've taught chimpanzees how to do sign language. In my opinion, Sasquatches are 100 times smarter than a chimpanzee. Do you think we could actually teach them sign language or the English language over time to where they could communicate with us?
I kind of think they
I
already
think it's
have
the
their
other
own
way
sign language.
around. We need to learn their language. But I mean, they can communicate with us if you have closer encounters and everything. But it'll be on our side.
Let me.
What do you think, Barry?
Barry, let me share. Our team actually got him on thermal one time, and he was about 100 yards away, and you could see this tiny figure coming, and there was two next to him. So as they got closer, 75, maybe 70 yards away, they were all excited, and I wasn't there, but what they described to me, and you can see it in the thermal, the adult, then you can see him walking. You can see everything about him was a Bigfoot, a Sitonga. And then you could see the juveniles next to him on each side. And Barry, I'm only trying to support, your question there, because what he did to this day still blows my mind. As you said, sign language, or they use signals. And I believe that, because what he did blew our minds. He threw his hand over his head, and then he put it down. As the juveniles were walking with him, we could see him do that signal, and then the juveniles slowly came in and got close to him as they got closer. So that was clearly a signal that humans get closer, because they stood right by his side as they walked and just orchestrated beautifully together. And that was one thing my team said. It was beautiful to watch, because that was clearly an armed signal that get close. Humans are nearby. So, Barry, I think that's possible. I mean, like someone said, they're far more intelligent, or you said it, than a chimpanzee. So I believe it wholeheartedly. I believe they understand us already, So, good question, Barry.
I had a question from a viewer here. Why don't you hear very many encounters from someone hunting or like that compared to them being around a campsite or areas like that? There's more reports from the campsite area.
Can I answer that?
We'll just go around. We'll start with Barry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Barry.
I have a friend who lives in town or outside of town. He's always giving me shit about that. He says, "Oh, come on, bro. I've been out there all over." He said, "hunting." He said, "and I haven't seen a damn thing." He said, "Quit bullshitting." He likes to give me a bad time about that. And he's a real skeptic. And I said, "Well, look at it this way." I said, "I wouldn't hang around either if I saw those guns, and I've been shot at before." So you're never going to see him with the gun in your hand. Put that gun down and come with me. I always tell him, I'll show you. So I hope that helps answer the question.
Right. That's the one side aspect of it, because they can smell or sense or visual see the gun and everything. We have activity, but even though we carry the guns, but we actually track them to where they're at. Our deal is it's only for protection, but hopefully we don't ever run into that one that's angry or whatever like that. The majority of the time you wouldn't be able to protect yourself anyway, because like I've said, there's not just one, there's several. So you're in trouble if it things goes. I believe the reason why they're around the campground and everything, they're curious. They want to see our activity. Like Barrett, Rob was saying here, from us, and they watch us to know what we're doing, so that they can interact with us, and they seek that knowledge. It's not really knowledge, but they seek that interaction, I believe. What's your take on it, Scout?
I believe you're right. They just the fact, that we heard that one on your recording, that was mimicking our speech. I think they hear us talking around the campfire, and they think, what are they talking about? And I think they're getting closer just to see what we're doing and what we're talking about and try to understand us a little better. Curiosity is the main thing. I mean, it's like not comparing them to chimps or anything, but chimps are the same way. Chimps are, they're curious. They come around and they pick things up and they look at them, and Chief's thing he had up there, they were going through the back of his truck to see what was in there. I think they just wonder about us, really do.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. They're just curious, and they went back through the back of my truck because all the stuff I carry for our camp. And what's this? Wonder what they use this for. They didn't steal nothing. They put it back almost right where it came from. And what the funny thing is, Scout had KFC on his tailgate. They didn't even steal the chicken or anything. They left all the food alone.
They were close, though.
Yeah, they were close. All
they had to do was walk the length of the truck, and they'd have had some.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure it's curiosity. Myself, what are these guys up to? Nobody comes out here, camps, and here's these guys. They just show up. And they're out there having a good time. Let's check them out.
I can't wait to play the enhanced version of those audios to you guys on that next camp out on that big Bluetooth speaker. There's one part of that where he was going through the back of Chief's truck, and you could hear him going, like, oh, what's this? It's really interesting.
Yeah.
We had 2 ice chests back there that night. Didn't even get bothered. I could have had them a soda.
You got any man on that hardcore? What's your belief?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I got like 3 things going at once right now. I'm sorry, guys. I had a new medicine I started, and it's really messing with I've got some memory, or it's got me kind of fog brain tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's cool.
Anybody got it? Have you just went over our hour mark here?
I was going to say, what I always went back to with that, it was one of the famous researchers, I think it was Grover Krantz, that said, we are their entertainment. We are their TV.
Yeah. And when
It's just like my mom's friend's mother, who had one looking through the bedroom window at her tail end when she was looking under the bed. She thought the cat had made a mess under the bed because of the smell. Well, she's bent over looking under the bed for cat scat, straightens up, looks up at the window, and there it stands looking in the window at her. Just like somebody watching a TV.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't come up with that, though. I think it was Grover Krantz that said that. Him or Renee DeHenden, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had that one night when we had a power outage, and me and my wife had lanterns and stuff in the living room, and we were playing a board game on the floor, and it had the window that's toward the south that's wide open towards the woods, and we blew out the lanterns and fixed to go to bed, and we no sooner got in the bedroom and heard this wham on top of the house. I mean, just hard. And went out there, and on the back deck that used to be there was a big muddy footprint. It was kind of raining. I thought maybe a limb fell on the house, but next morning I went out there and the roof had a hole in it. And I think something was watching us play that board game, and when we blowed out the lanterns, it didn't like that. Their entertainment ended, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when Heather, with all these gas prices, started staying up at her mom's. It happened the other night too. Went out the front door and there's a rock sitting on my front porch. Went out the back, there was 3 little pebbles stacked up by the gate going off that back deck. It was like, we know you're here by yourself. So
Yep.
it just,
Well,
I know they're here right now.
we're at our closing.
Oh, yeah. And her having that knee surgery.
I was just going to say we're at our closing point here.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed you being here tonight, Barry, both of you.
Anybody's
Chief,
got any?
Wendell?
Yeah, it was a pleasure, guys. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hope you get to join us again soon.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you both on. Yeah.
Hey,
Join us again. If you have any activity, we'll check your page out.
all right. Hey, Scout,
Go
can
ahead,
you give
Barry.
me a call?
Huh?
Scout, can you give me a call?
Yeah, what's your number?
402.
Just a minute. Let me get something right with.
All right.
I was going to tell Mr. Webster there, I'll have to send you another friend request. I got hacked, had to start over from scratch on Facebook a few months ago.
That sucks. Sorry to hear
Oh,
that.
It was, you can ask Wendell, they got me twice within a month or so of each other.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Like we said, it was almost like somebody was trying to shut me up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Barry.
402
That's
922
What's the second one?
922
922.
1592.
Okay, got you.
Why don't you give me a call as soon as we get off here?
Okay, I'll do it.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks, guys. Wendell,
Well,
everybody,
that's
Chief,
it, Barry.
Hardcore. Bless you guys.
Have a good night. God bless you.
yeah.
Bring
God bless
postage,
our
guys.
night.
All right, good night.
Y'all have a good night.
Next investigation, bring